Congratulations, everyone. You guys made it to the last week. We're putting it all together. So hopefully you're going to have all the tools in the toolbox. And now let's refine those tools to make a good foundation of your health and fitness to age gracefully. For those who do not know me, my name is Matt. I'm the physical therapist at GL Rehabilitation since the end of 2020. This helps me provide for my wife and 3 kids. And throughout this process, I started off my journey being born and raised on a dairy farm in western Wisconsin called Prescott. I stayed living on the farm to attend the University of Wisconsin River Falls, and I obtained a certification of exercise sports science and with the certification of exercise physiology specialist. Then I went to University of Wisconsin-Madison for my doctorate of physical therapy. And while I was there, I obtained my certification in strength and conditioning specialist. After that, I obtained and did my residency in orthopedics at UW Health in Merida, and I got the chance to sit for the orthopedics clinical specialist. So I know it looks like I have a lot of alphabet soup at the end of my name. I just wanted to demonstrate and show how passionate I am for helping others. And this is the whole point of why I want to further my education and keep on learning to help my patients get the best care that they deserve. Alright, last week we put it all together. So let's buckle in and figure out how to do this. And again, if you've not contacted me thus far, feel free if you need to have physical therapy appointments or if you want to have one-on-one sessions with me to figure out your plan. You went through this routine thus far, I'm not quite doing it. I'm not sure exactly if I know how to do this. Because this is all about you getting in the tools in the toolbox. And if you need some guidance to use the tools, and outside and in addition to these lectures, feel free. We'll contact me. We'll get worked out, and just making sure that this is all educational information, you learning information, and empowering yourself. And GL Rehab and Matt cannot be liable for any actions taken based on this information. So, just like in week 4, we'll just review some of the muscle fiber types. So, as soon as we developed a microscope in the 17th century, scientists have been able to distinguish muscle fibers by their color, white and red. Over time, we've become a much nuanced understanding. We have different fiber types: type 1, which is slow twitch fibers; type 2A, fast twitch oxidative fibers; type 2X, fast twitch glycolytic fibers. Each type have distinct characteristics that influence the physical activity and performance. Type 1 fibers are slow to contract but highly resistant to fatigue. They primarily rely on aerobic metabolism, making them critical for endurance events and more fine-tuned movements. Type 2A fibers contract faster and less fatigued, using them both anaerobic and aerobic metabolisms, while 2X fibers contract the fastest but fatigue quickly, relying mainly on anaerobic metabolism for short bursts of activities. Understanding these fiber types is critical for, as we discuss, how to train effectively for a lifelong functional capacity. Now, there's different distribution of fiber types throughout the body, and that varies based on the individual, largely due to genetics. For some example, some people might have higher percentage of slow twitch, which make them precursors and excel at endurance activities. Interestingly, different muscles in our bodies can vastly differ muscle fiber types as well. For instance, your soleus, your part of your calf, is 9% slow twitch fibers, while your gastrocnemius, your other calf muscle, is 60 to 70% fast twitch fibers. There's a large diversity of muscle performance for these wide degrees of muscle differences. But here's the exciting part. While we start with genetically determined fiber types, distribution across our body, this isn't set in stone. Our muscles show remarkable plasticity, meaning that they can adapt to the demands we placed on them. Though specific types of trainings, we can influence one fiber type distribution with some extent. We can even develop what we call hybrid fibers that has uh, multiple fiber characteristics. This adaptivity has important implications how we approach RA training, especially as we age. It suggests that a varied approach incorporating both endurance and power activities are critical for maintaining overall muscle health and function. By understanding and working with the unique muscle makeup, we can optimize our training for lifelong functional capacity. Just like we had in week 4, the understanding how these muscles change as we age is important. We, we decrease the overall muscle size, that's our sarcopenia, and we actually lose more type 2, that fast twitch fibers, because we don't use them as much. So this loss is a result of decrease in protein synthesis, making it harder to build those muscles and repair those tissues. Neurological changes, including decreased motor unit recruitment and firing rates, and mitochondria, the powerhouse cells of our body, are not as efficient as they have been. All these changes play a important functional capacity role. With the loss of the fast twitch fibers and decreased power output, it's going to be hard to exert force quickly and thus reduce that speed. So whatever you do is like, man, I feel like I'm walking quicksand. That's the reason why. So activities such as rising from a chair, you might have to use your hands now because you don't have that power as you need to, and thus leading to a high risk for falls. And 1 in 4 individuals over the age of 65 end up falling, and a third of those people unfortunately will die in the next year if they sustain a hip fracture, which is crazy to think about. And a lot of those people who survive will never get back to the functional capacity what they had before. Resistance training has been proven to increase muscle mass and strength as they age at any point, with gradually increasing the weight, frequency, time, and attention of the muscle. We can actually incorporate and actually maintain the type 2 fast twitch fibers. Also with this, maintaining those fast twitch fibers also requires a lot of protein in our diet as well. So making sure we are consuming that large amount of proteins to maintain that protein structure of the muscles. By understanding these age-related changes and taking proactive steps to counter them, we can maintain our strength, power, independence as we well into our later years. As we aim to maintain optimal muscle health output throughout our years and our life, it's essential to understand the different types of training serve a different purpose. Each plays a critical role in keeping our muscles functioning well as we age. The first pillar, strength, primarily targets the type 2, the fast twitch fibers. This type of exercise is key for enhancing muscle hypertrophy and maintaining the power needed for daily activities. As we age, natural tendency is to lose these fibers, so strength training is vital for combating this loss. Next, we have stability and mobility, which are all about supporting the joints and ensuring that we have balanced muscle activation. This training helps to prevent injuries, particularly those that might occur from falls, and support overall functional movement. Aerobic capacity, the third pillar, focuses on increasing the density of mitochondria in our type 1 or slow twitch fibers. This improves our muscles' ability to use oxygen efficiently, which is critical for cardiovascular health and sustaining endurance activities. Lastly, anaerobic training, such as high interval training (HIIT), is a time-effective way to stimulate both type 1 and type 2 slow and fast twitch muscle fibers. This type of exercise improves the power and metabolic efficiency, offering a well-rounded approach to fitness and thus improving your VO2 max. So you can do more activities throughout the day at a higher level of your capacity. It is important to remember the principle of specificity, which tells us that different training modalities lead to specific adaptations in our muscles. This is why a varied approach, including strength training, stability, anaerobic and anaerobic training, is essential for overall muscle health. By covering all these bases, we maintain a healthy balance from muscles' function, power, and endurance, which is critical for staying active and independent as we age. Training periodization is a systematic method of planning your training divided into cycles of time, a macro, meso, and micro system, to target specific adaptations and prevent burnout. Developed by Levo Mavlejev in the 1960s, periodization has become a cornerstone in sports training. Instead of doing the same workout every day, this approach varies intensities and focus, ensuring continuous improvement while reducing injury risk. In essence, it is your roadmap to peak performance and long-term fitness. Like we said, you will need to have a roadmap for success for your ultimate goals, and this is the roadmap that you can develop those goals. Whether you're training for a competition or improving daily function, periodization helps you work smarter, not just harder. We'll break down the cycles of training of periodization. The macro system is the overall training period. This could be an entire year or season. Within that, mesocycles last several weeks or months, each focusing on a specific goal like strength or endurance. Finally, microsystems, typically 1 week long, develop your daily workouts. Each cycle builds on the previous one, allowing your body to gradually adapt, recover, and then peak. The structured progression ensures you're not overtraining while continuously challenging your body. It's a systematic approach that makes achieving long-term performance goals much more efficient. Why periodization is so essential? It's not just about training hard, it's about training smarter. Periodization aligns with your workouts, with your specific performance goals, varying intensities and volume to maximize progress while preventing overtraining. The structured approach not only helps you avoid plateaus and injuries, but also keeps you motivated by clearly aligning your progress. Think about the personalized roadmap of your training journey, one that adjusts your needs and circumstances. Whether you're aiming for peak performance or simply maintaining your fitness, periodization ensures your training is effective, sustainable, and enjoyable. All right. And so periodization isn't a one fits all. Just like we talked about before, we have periodization. This linear periodization. This method gradually increases intensity while decreasing volume over time. It is particularly effective for beginners on those returning to training after a long break, providing a steady progression that helps them build a strong foundation. Undulating periodization, which varies intensities and volumes more frequently, either daily or weekly. This method is well structured for intermediate and advanced exercises because it introduces variety that challenges the body in new ways, preventing plateaus. And lastly, there's block periodization. This approach focuses on developing specific abilities in a controlled blocks of time. It is ideal for advanced athletes or anyone with specific performance goals because it allows for a laser focus approach to improve particular aspect of fitness. Now we've covered different types of periodization. Now let's dive into specific phases which make up the well-rounded periodization program. We have the preparation phase, where the focus is building on a solid base of strength and endurance. This phase typically involves a higher volume and lower intensity, laying the groundwork for more intense training to come. The next is hypertrophy phase, which emphasizes muscle growth. Here we work on moderate volume and intensity, which is perfect for stimulating muscle development while still building the endurance from the preparation phase. Following that is the strength phase. This phase is all about developing maximum strength, which with lower volume but higher intensity. It's where we push the limits to increase the power, increase the overall capacity, which is our strength. Then comes power, which focuses on explosive movements and speed. This phase uses the lowest volume but also the highest intensity to maximize power output, critical for activities requiring quick, forceful movements. Lastly, we have a maintenance phase. This phase is essentially for sustaining gains made in the previous ones, allowing the body to recover. It involves moderate volume and intensity, striking a balance that keeps you in peak condition without overtraining. To give a clearer picture of how periodization works in practice, let's create a sample training schedules to tailor to different experience levels, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. For beginners who train around 3 to 4 hours per week, the focus is on building a strong aerobic base and introduce basic resistance training. This schedule includes moderate amounts of zone 2 cardio, like brisk walking and jogging, combination with a full body resistance exercise. This approach ensures a balanced foundation without overwhelming the body. For those intermediate levels, training 5 to 6 hours per week, the program becomes more structured. We introduce HIIT or zone 5 training and improve anaerobic capacity along with more focused resistance training. The combination of zone 2 and zone 5 helps boost the endurance and power, while resistance training are split between upper and body to promote a well-balanced development. And for the advanced trainers who are ready to commit over an hour a day, 7 to 8 hours per week, the schedules become even more specialized. We incorporate more zone 2 training with zone 5 alongside with resistance training sessions and quite a bit of stability and mobility work. This requires careful management of intensity and ensures amount of recovery for continuous improvement without risking injury. Starting a new training routine can feel daunting, but with the beginning level schedule, we're focusing on building a solid foundation without overwhelming the body. Our goal is to commit to 3 to 4 hours per week. That is 30 minutes a day, which includes a balance between cardio, strength training, and some stability mobility work. Every session begins with a short 10-minute stability or mobility routine. This is key because it prepares your body for the workout ahead, reducing the risk for injuries, and helps maintain joint health, especially important if you are new to exercising. And then we'll start with zone 2 cardio 3 times a week. This is a moderate intense exercise that you should be able to hold a conversation, but it's kind of uncomfortable, and the other person should know that you are exercising. It is great for building your aerobic base and improving your endurance. Next, we have 2 full body resistance training days. These sessions are all about covering the basics, the legs, pushing movements, pulling movements, to kind of work the core and the biggest muscle groups. The focus here is on building great form and technique with these versus how much weight you can put on. On Saturday, there's optional zone 5 after you do zone 2, so you can always end with a finisher. So the last like 4 or 5 minutes of your zone 2 training, you can go a little bit harder and kind of get you more comfortable with that zone 5 in the future. Because we always like to say, if you're going to do zone 5 training, making sure that you have it one day a week doing 4 minutes on, 4 minutes off, but we should have a consistent 1 month of zone 2 training before we try to do a full and zone 5 training. By following this routine, you will start to see improvements in your strength, endurance, and overall fitness, setting you up for success and sustainable fitness journey. At the intermediate level, we're stepping things up a notch, both in terms of how much time we spend working out and the variety of exercises we do. Our weekly schedule now covers about 5 to 6 hours of training, with more structured approach to the resistance and cardio, while keeping stability and mobility at the forefront. We'll continue to start each session with a quick 10-minute stability and mobility routine. This is essential for preparing your body, ensuring your joints are supported, and reduce your risk for injuries, and as the intensity of your workouts increase. On our zone 2 cardio days, now it's going to be 3 to 4 times per week, lasting about 45 minutes. This level of commitment is where you really start to see those improvements in cardiovascular, and where you make all those big benefits that we talked about in our previous sessions, is getting this number up as high as possible. And people tend to do this or listen to podcasts and stuff like that. Resistance training is more specialized at this stage, where you can break into different, like upper body and lower body and back. You can, but you have to make sure you're very committed. We don't want to miss a day and then you just miss out of that whole routine. So if you feel like you are able to break it up into those components, perfect. If not, maybe sticking into a whole body routine and just going a little bit, having more value in each one is going to be important. But if you are able to, Monday can be an upper body work. Think about the pushing movements like the bench press, and then the pulling movements like rows. The Wednesday is for the lower body. Think about squats, deadlifts, and lower other leg strengthening exercises. Friday will be a full body workout combining both of them. This ensures all muscle groups are getting the attention they need. Core and balance work will get additional focus on these days as well. So you'll actually have specific days where you're just going to be doing stability core work as well after you do resistance training. And of course, there's that optional zone 5 as well, making sure you do it right after that zone 2, and doing zone 2 for that month apart before you're trying to get that zone 5 training into it. So by following this intermediate schedule, you're building a stronger, more resilient body, setting the stage for even more advanced training down the road. At the advanced level, a training schedule is designed to challenge our bodies and push your bodies to new heights. We're looking for a total commitment of 7 to 8 hours per week, where every minute is maximized for optimal gain for strength, endurance, and overall performance. Each session, again, always starts with that 10-minute stability, activating those muscles to keep them prepared. Then we have zone 2 training that's going to be happening 5 days a week now, lasting 45 to 60 minutes. This steady state cardio is the foundation of cardiovascular fitness and supports recovery of more demanding training. Resistance becomes even more specialized. So then we can break up into different groups of working on the upper body for hypertrophy. Then on Wednesday is going to be shifting to lower body and we can do same thing, hypertrophy training for that, or you can mix and match different aspects. And then Sunday, then we have a additional power day as well. So we have more fast, quick movements, doing jumps, doing activities like that. Core and balance work are integrated throughout the week, enhancing your stability, preventing injuries, and preventing other movements in training. Finally, there is actually a built-in zone 5 day where you do this after your zone 2 workout, where you're going 4 minutes on as hard as you can, 4 minutes off, and that's the kind of the structure that PT recommends. But anything from 3 to 8 minute all-out effort, then taking probably equal recovery will suffice as well. Try and do that 3, 4, all the way up to 6 times. Following this advanced schedule will ensure you're not maintaining your fitness, but actively pushing performance to new levels, ready to tackle any physical challenge that comes your way. Alright, so I can see some of you might feel a little bit deer caught in the headlights right now. This can all be pretty daunting. The idea that committing to a comprehensive training program with all these different components can feel like a lot, especially if you're starting out and you have not been consistent with your exercise routine in the past. This feeling is completely normal and is actually recognized in psychology as choice overload or analyze paralysis. Let's break it down a bit. We're talking about 4 main pillars: strength training, stability, mobility, aerobic, and anaerobic. Each of these play a critical role in fitness, as we talked about before. But the good news is you don't have to tackle everything at once. In fact, trying to do so often leads to burnout and injury. Instead, I want you to start small. Pick just one pillar of exercise that feels like the most meaningful or accessible to you right now. Maybe you enjoy strength training and feel like where you want to focus on, or perhaps stability, mobility, or are areas where you feel like you need the most. Whatever it is, start with that. Then, choosing that as your starting point, consider 3 things: what you enjoy, what you feel like you need the most, and what fits best into your current lifestyle. Enjoyment is critical because you're more likely to stick with it if you like it. Perception of need is a strong motivator. If you feel like your balance is poor, focusing on stability exercises can give you a quick and noticeable improvement. And of course, it needs to fit into your day-to-day life. If you can only spare 15 minutes a day, that's fine. Start with that, because the best program is a program that what you're going to do. Then give it a month or 2. Stick with that one pillar and see how you feel. This time frame is long enough to see some changes, but not so long that you lose motivation. If it's not the right fit, reassess after that time. Are you noticing improvements? Is it making a difference in your daily life? Do you feel more energetic, stronger, or more balanced? If it is meaningful to you, that's a win. That means you're on the right path. If you start feeling yourself wanting more, that is what we call catching the exercise bug. This is a positive addiction to exercise. When that happens, start by increasing the frequency of your sessions. If you're exercising 2 to 3 times per week, try adding another day. Once that's comfortable with that, gradually increasing the duration of your workouts. Start with 10, 15 minutes, then work up to 30 minutes, gradually adding 5 minutes here and there, and potentially even all the way to hour sessions. This gradual approach is based on the principle of progressive overload. In exercise science, it is a slowly increasing demands on your body, allowing it to adapt to and grow stronger over time. It is also a great way to build sustainable habits. Research shows that it takes about 66 days on average to form a new habit. So give yourself time to make exercise a natural part of your routine. Remember, small steps lead to large gains. This this is key here to be consistent and to make your exercise routine something that you enjoy and can sustain for a long time. Keeping a simple log of activities, if you find that can be motivation, perfect. It can be really encouraging to look back on, see how far you have come. Don't worry about mastering everything all at once. Just focus on one thing, then build your confidence and capacity, and before you know it, you're tackling all four pillars with ease. Celebrate your progress along the way, no matter how small it might seem. Every step is a win. And if you find it tough to stay motivated, consider finding a workout buddy, joining a fitness community. Having support and accountability makes a big difference to allow you to stick through your goals. So take a deep breath, start small, even with breathing training, as we take a deep breath, and know that you already are on the way to better health. You got this. When it comes to training, there's no one size fits all. Your training should reflect your specific goals. Whether you're losing fat, gaining muscle, building endurance, each of these goals require a different focus. And I'm going to hopefully walk you through this and give you the knowledge so you can develop your program by yourself. And if not, then I'll be the guide and help guide you through this process. Let's start by fat loss. Your main goal is to lose fat. We'll want to maintain your calorie burn while preserving muscle mass. Also with that, you're making sure we have to be in a caloric debt, not too much of a debt. You're maintaining quite a bit of activity through your zone 2 training, maintaining and so increasing that cardio, zone 2 cardio is key for creating caloric debt. But then also you're making sure you're maintaining a high protein diet so you're not losing a lot of muscle mass, and maintaining a resistance training to keep that muscle there. Next, if muscle gain is the goal, then you have to shift your focus. Building muscle requires an increase in both the frequency and volume to resistance training. Time under tension of the muscle is the name of the game to build that muscle mass. So this can be done in multiple ways. By shifting to heavier weights, doing more reps and sets, by spending more time in the gym. Cardio is still important, which should still, but will probably take a little bit backseat during this phase. Your diet plays critical. You have to make sure you're eating enough protein and consuming a slight caloric surplus to help support that muscle growth. For those who's aiming to boost their aerobic capacity, zone 2 is where you continue your efforts and build your aerobic base. And it is an essential part for your endurance. Over time, you want to increase the duration of zone 2 workouts. Include one longer session per week. Include something like an hour or higher, so we can push those endurance activities. But don't also forget resistance training, as we maintain muscle strength is critical for preventing injuries and sustaining long-term endurance. Finally, let's talk about the importance of using those baseline measurements. Before we start adjusting your training plan, take some time to assess your current fitness. We did this initially right off the bat to help find these limitations. So this testing your strength, endurance, mobility, evaluating your body composition. These baseline measurements will help you to identify areas you need the most improvements, and also it's very rewarding checking on once in a while seeing if you are making improvements. A lot of times you're exercising and like, man, I'm exercising and I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. I'm not seeing the benefits in the mirror, not seeing it on the scale, but am I making improvements? That's where these baseline measurements are going to really come key. Give you that foundation of, all right, this is where I began, and this is where I'm improving to. Because again, zone two training, and then like, man, I'm just spending a lot of time on this drone exercise bike. It still feels hard. I'm not accomplished. I'm not getting any faster. But then you find that on your walk test, actually measuring your VO2 max, you actually see that increase. But it takes consistency over time, unfortunately. So for some of those larger things, for like VO2 max, grip strength, to see that change. So don't lose motivation, but having those different aspects of the baseline measurements will help. In summary, by customizing your training plan based on your specific goals and baseline measurements, you will ensure that your workouts are both effective, efficient, and meaningful to you. Whether you're aiming to lose fat, build muscle, enhance endurance, having a targeted approach will help you achieve your goals more quickly and sustainably. Turning away from a grim topic of dying, and another challenging aspect of this journey is fitting this exercise into our busy schedules. Incorporating strength training into our daily lives can sometimes seem challenging, especially with busy schedules. However, a few practical strategies it can become manageable, even enjoyable part of our routine. First, finding time in a busy schedule is crucial. Consistency is key when it comes to strength training, and even short, frequent sessions can be highly effective. One strategy is setting specific times each day to exercise. Early mornings before the day gets hectic, during lunch breaks, or even in the evening can be great times to fit in a quick workout. By scheduling exercise just like any other important activity becomes a regular part of your day. Next, you don't need to have a gym or fancy equipment to get a good strength workout. Many household items can double as weights. For instance, water bottles, books, heavy bags can be used for exercise like bicep curls, shoulder pressers, weighted squats. This makes it easier to fit in the schedule without needing special equipment. For example, you can use a backpack filled with books and set it for resistance while doing squats or lunges. Additionally, incorporating strength training into routines can be seamless. Think about times during your day where you can fit in a few exercises, doing squats while brushing your teeth, calf raises while you're waiting for your coffee to brew, push-ups during TV commercials. Are all simple ways you can incorporate exercise into everyday activities. By finding creative ways to incorporate strength training into your daily routine, you can ensure it becomes a sustainable and beneficial part of your daily routine. So overcoming all those common barriers to exercise, and the most common is going to be lack of time. We're incredibly busy, but just finding a chunk of time to do a high intensity workout can have very effective and a lot of benefits. As we talked about Zach Bush's 4-minute routine, incorporating that 3 times throughout the day has shown to be very impactful for many people. Motivation is another barrier. Staying motivated regularly to exercise is going to be what we're going to make the most bang for your buck. So maintaining motivation is key. You can track your activity and exercise. You can have an exercise buddy. You can have hopefully you have a significant other can do it with you and maybe compete against each other. We kind of talked about the equipment aspect. A lot of us don't have that access to a gym, but you can do a lot of things with body weights and pantry items and things around the house. And if you want to have guidance, you can even say a lower leg exercise without equipment. And there'll be so many different exercises online that they'll give you ways to modify and perform these. By addressing these common barriers and implementing practical solutions, you can make exercise a regular and sustainable part of our lives. In the following slides, we'll explore how to monitor and adjust our goals as we need to. Why is tracking your progress so important? First and foremost, it's a powerful motivational tool. When you can see improvements over time, it becomes much easier to stay committed to your goals. There's nothing like quite looking back at what you started and realize how far you've come. Tracking also helps you optimize your training program. By keeping detailed records, you can identify plateaus in your strength and muscle gain. This also allows you to pinpoint areas where you might need it the most and maybe need adjustments to your routine to continue to see progress. Tracking provides objective measures to your progress. It is invaluable for setting and achieving specific fitness and health goals. It gives you a concrete data to share with your healthcare providers if needed. Let's talk some tools that can help track progress effectively. Many of us have found fitness apps incredibly helpful. These apps can help you log workouts, include your weights, lifting, weight, number, repetitions you completed, how you're feeling. They can even provide graphs to visualize it over time, which can be very motivating. If you prefer the more traditional approach, a simple journal can be just as effective. You use it to record not only your weights and exercises, but also how you're feeling, energy levels, mood, recovery. Don't underestimate the power of photos. Taking photos once in a while can reveal changes in muscle tone and overall physique that might not be apparent in everyday routine. These visual cues can be incredibly motivating, especially on days when you're not feeling discouraged. And remember, this is for the long haul. So spacing appointments, photos out every two months, it's not going to change overnight, unfortunately. And then also, based on your progress, yeah, you might have to modify your goals. This could be increasing your weights, uh, what what exercises you're doing, adding more reps, adding more sets, introducing new exercises to target muscles in a different way. Progressive overload is key to maintain that continuous progress. It's also important to prepare to adjust your goals based on challenging life circumstances. Perhaps developing a new interest in a particular sport, you want to tailor your strength training to accommodate that. You picked up pickleball, maybe you have to be a little bit more quick on your feet. So, or if you have an injury, you might temporarily need to shift focus to rehabilitative exercises. The key is to remain flexible and responsive to your body's needs and your life situation. Remember, consistency is key in both tracking and goal setting. Be patient with yourself and celebrate both small victories and major milestones along the way. Don't hesitate to seek support from fitness professionals if you need guidance to adjust your program. By consistently monitoring your progress and setting appropriate goals, you'll be able to maintain motivation, continue making progress, adapt your training plan as needed. This approach will help you achieve long-term success in your strength training journey and support overall goal of aging gracefully. Now that we have covered the key steps on creating an effective fitness routine, now it's time to put it into practice. As your homework for this week, this activity is all about creating your own realistic fitness routine, a strategic roadmap that will guide you for the next 8 to 12 weeks. First, you have to allot a different time, like figure out and assess your time. Then you have to choose your workout structure, then plan your workouts, set a 12-week goal, and commit and adjust. Those are the different steps that we'll be talking about in depth about what we're going to be reviewing and hopefully having a life-changing activity moving forward. Our first step is all about assessing the time you have. On this slide, you'll see 3 key points. First, take a close look at your daily schedule. Write down all the activities, whether it's work, time with family, or even those moments where you're on your phone doing mindless scrolling. Next, identifying those low value time sinks. Ask yourself, how much time do you spend scrolling through social media, watching TV? These activities might be enjoyable, but they have also be opportunities to reclaim time for exercise. Finally, determine how much hours per week you can realistically commit to exercise for the next 8 to 12 weeks. This is an honest appraisal is your foundation for building a routine that works for you. Remember, it is all about creating small, sustainable steps. Set yourself for success. In step 2, we'll be focusing on a workout structure that fits in your unique schedule. On this slide, you'll see a few examples. If you have around 3 hours a week, you might opt to either doing a 3 1-hour sessions or 6 30-minute sessions. The ideal is to select a structure that feels natural and sustainable for you. Whether you prefer longer, less frequent workouts or shorter, more frequent ones, the key is to commit to a routine that you'll stick to over time. Remember, there is no perfect formula. What matters is consistency. As you progress, you might find you can adjust the duration or frequency, but for now, let's start with a realistic, manageable commitment. And it can be varying. If you could have an hour and a half, these are just kind of guidelines to choose from. Please customize this for your needs. And you can have like 30-minute section here, 40-minute section there, depending on your need for your schedule. Step 3 is all about planning your workouts. This slide here advises that you should split your time exercising equally between cardio and strength training. For cardio, we're talking about low intensity, steady state efforts, what we often refer to as zone 2 training. This could be brisk walking, cycling, or even running. These activities are great for improving your heart health and overall endurance. On the strength side, think about incorporate exercises that you might use body weight or simple equipment like resistance bands or dumbbells. This part of your workout is essential for maintaining muscle mass and strength as you age. The most important takeaway is choosing activities that you generally enjoy, because the more fun you have, the more likely you're going to keep it up. Balancing these components is a strong foundation of a well-rounded routine, and also making sure if you are going to be doing stuff at home, because that's going to take, if you have to go to the gym, that's going to take time away from actually exercising if you only have an hour to commit that day. So we like to try to do things as much as you can at home, or in having the accessibility of it preferably. Now, let's move into step 4. Set a 12-week goal. On this slide, you're encouraged to establish a clear, measurable goal for your exercise routine. This could be something like increasing your wall sit time from 10 seconds to 60 seconds, or committing to a number of workouts per week. Writing down your goal and make sure it's something that you can track over the next 12 weeks. Tracking your progress, whether it is in a journal, a digital tracker, is essential. It provides you a tangible evidence of your improvements and keeps you motivated. Remember, every little victory counts, and over time, these wins add up to be a significant health benefits. Again, this is like if you want to do a structured routine of writing things down. Sometimes you just have like an internal goal in your head, but I think it's quite beneficial to actually write it down so you can have tracking it. Finally, we arrive at step 5, commitment and adjust. This slide emphasizes the importance of treating your workouts like any other important appointment on your calendar. By scheduling them as non-negotiable, you make them a commitment to yourself. After 4 weeks, take some time to reassess your progress. Ask yourself, is this routine working for me? Can I handle a little bit more? It might be time to gradually increase your workout duration intensity. Staying flexible and adaptable is key to maintaining a long-term fitness habit. Remember, the goal is not perfection, it is progress. With each adjustment, you are moving closer to aging gracefully with a consistent, health focused lifestyle. So that's it, everyone. So, in conclusion, the principles we've talked about today all tie back in the overall reaching goal, embracing the idea of training for the aging gracefully journey. This means never stop your training, no matter your age, no matter what your focus is, balance, endurance, strength training, trying to preserve all these components of functional capacity. Remember, aging gracefully isn't about looking a certain way. It's about maintaining the function and independence that allows you to live life on your terms. It's about being able to chase after your grandkids, travel, or simply get to the day-to-day tasks without feeling exhausted or in pain. As we leave here today, I encourage everyone to start integrating these principles into your routine, regardless of your current fitness level. It's never too late to start, and the benefits you'll experience both now and in the future are well worth the effort. Here's to a long, healthy, active life. Any questions?